So welcome to Practical Ways to Reduce Stress and Reclaim Your Thrive. It is my personal belief that our thrive is within all of us, and some of us may have never found it, some of us may have lost it, but stress can definitely be a huge impact in it. And so here we are today. I am the founder of Trinity Transformations, which I started to help the anxious overachiever to release the shame and guilt that they're holding on to about their mental health struggles, whether it's just symptoms or a diagnosis, either way, as well as then to just realign their priorities so that they can reclaim their best life. And I am a transformational speaker and coach, as well as a elementary school educator, fitness instructor, mom of 3, and a woman who deals with high functioning depression. But I don't put that in because I don't feel it defines me. It's just kind of important for today's session for you to know that. And so what we're going to do is we're actually going to start to take a moment, think about all the parts of us, our body, mind, soul, and spirit. And I invite you to, we're going to just take a minute to arrive. So you can close your eyes if you feel comfortable, or just look down so that you're not distracted by lots of things in your vision, and start to notice your breathing. You do not have to change your breathing at all. Just simply notice it. And we're going to do a quick body scan to start at the top of our head and move our way down, noticing any stress, breathing into it, knowing that we may not release it, and some of it we will, and letting it all go down into the earth as we go. So noticing if your brow is furrowed, if your jaw is clenched, or perhaps your tongue is at the roof of your mouth. Are you carrying any stress or tension in your neck or your shoulders, or anywhere in your arms, hands, fingers? Breathe into wherever you are noticing that stress and tension. Move down your torso, down to your lower spine and your abdomen, through your hips, legs, all the way down past your knees, down your shins and your calves. Notice anything you may feel in your ankles or your feet. Let's take one more deep breath and just let any of it that's ready to go right out into the earth. And then you can open your eyes. And hopefully just taking that quick 2 minutes, you may even notice a difference in your body and how you're arriving. But it's great to just honor how it is that we are arriving. And so I want you to think, and I invite you, if you're willing to, yes, and we're going to talk about that, Miranda. So if you're willing to put it in the chat, that's great. If not, and you just want to keep the mental number in your head, totally fine. But just think about, on a scale of 1 to 10, with 1 being totally overwhelmed and 10 being totally on top of things, how have you been feeling most of the time over this past month? Thank you. Thank you. 6s and 7s. I would say I'm in the 7-8 range myself. And a lot of it, for many people, is due to anxiety. I heard this incredible definition of anxiety on a radio show in the last month or so, that it is a lack of control plus fear of the unknown. And isn't that just COVID, like, epitomized? You know, we don't have control over so many things. When am I going to be able to get my business back up to the levels that it is? Am I even going to? There's the unknown. I don't have control over when I can reopen if we're closed down. I don't have control over when I can get the vaccine. So many things that we don't know and we can't control. And when they come together, they cause anxiety. They are anxiety. So it's not surprising that our numbers are over 5 these days. And so if this is you, I want you to be aware you are not alone. Now, this stat here, 1 in 4 Canadians will be diagnosed with an anxiety or depressive disorder in their life. That is a pre-COVID stat. This morning, I actually heard a mental health stat that's current, and I honestly was so shocking I can't even remember it, but it is so rampant mental health issues these days that it's just unbelievable. So before COVID, the World Health Organization was already saying we are coming into a excuse me, mental health pandemic, crisis, I should say. And so now it's just that much worse. So know that you're not alone. That's the first thing. And why we feel this has a lot to do with our window of tolerance. So trauma, which we are in a global trauma, we have been experiencing a trauma for a year, especially as entrepreneurs, when all of a sudden overnight our businesses were shut down. Some of us were allowed to stay open. Some of us weren't. Some of us were shut down and then reopened and shut down again. There's so many variables going on for us right now. And so that affects our window of tolerance. Never mind all the things we have at home with our families. Like if we're talking strictly entrepreneurial things, there's still so much going on. So what happens is we normally have a window of tolerance that's, like this. Okay. So in our day-to-day things, we have things that, bother us and up and downs and whatever, but they're normally kind of within that window of tolerance. Now, when we have trauma, our window of tolerance shrinks. So now those same things that are happening are outside of our window of tolerance. So things that before would not have put us into hyperarousal, where we're angry, yelling, fighting, or hypoarousal, where we feel lack of motivation, freeze mode. We don't want to do anything. We don't just want to just zone out, or we feel zoned out. The regular things of life that we used to be able to handle are now often putting us into those zones. So know that it's normal and it's not something that you can control when your window of tolerance is shrunk. So what we have to do is try to grow that window of tolerance back. And sometimes we can do it on our own with strategies that we have developed. Sometimes we can do it by reaching out to a friend for help. And sometimes we need to go further than that and get some professional help, whether that be from a coach, your doctor, a therapist, any kind of mental health professional. And all of those things are okay. And I know that as entrepreneurs, most of us would classify ourselves as overachievers. Some anxious overachievers, but many of us, most of us, as overachievers. That's why we're entrepreneurs, because we have that get up and go, and we always want to do our best, and we want to do more than 110%. So it can be hard for us to ask for help, but it is not a sign of weakness. Recognizing when we do need help is actually a sign of strength, because nobody is perfect. None of us can do everything perfectly on our own. So really let that sink in. If you're a person that it's hard to ask for help, that it is in fact a sign of strength. I believe that so deeply. Oops. I'm not sure if any of you know Mel Robbins, but she did have a daily show when we first, in March of last year, on not her network TV show, if you know that, but on all the social media challenges to get us through. She thought she'd be on there for maybe a couple of months kind of thing. And every day she was coming on and she had these daily challenges, and I did one of them, and she actually featured me. And that was such a gift to me, because Mel Robbins is one of my mentors, one of the people I look up to. I think so incredible because she's so raw and real and tells us how she manages through her anxiety and how we can get through it as well. So I just adore her. And so when she featured me on her show, I was like, wow, amazing. That's one of the gifts I got because of this past year. And so looking for the gifts makes us feel grateful for it. You can see how I just started to smile when I was talking about that, just remembering that. And that was almost a year ago that happened, but it still makes me so happy to think about that moment. And so gratitude really is a great mood shifter, and that can help us to grow that window of tolerance because we start to feel calmer again. If you've had any amazing gifts in COVID, I'd love you to type those into the chat too. And the key is to start by filling your cup. We've all heard we can't fill from an empty cup, or put your own mask, oxygen mask on before others. And we know that it's true up here, but sometimes we just can't bring ourselves to do it. But that really is the key, because it is true that if you just give and give and give to others, give to your business, keep going, despite the fact that you're tired, despite the fact that you have other obligations, maybe you still have a full-time job, maybe you have a family, other people you need to support, you end up empty and you cannot give your best. You just can't. It's impossible. So the things I'm going to be talking about today to help fill your cup, I'm going to give you a number of different ideas. I do not want you to leave here feeling overwhelmed, like there's so much and how am I going to fit all this in, or I don't have time for even one extra thing. No. Let's start by saying, listen to all these ideas, see what really just hits you and you think, yeah, that's one I'd really like to try. Pick one thing from all of this and start off small with it. You might decide to do this one new thing for 5 minutes a day, maybe for just 3 minutes a day, or you might even just need to start with 1 minute a day. And then you can build up to what you want it to be eventually. So start small. I'm just giving you a number of resources, a number of tools, because I don't have a cookie cutter strategy that one thing fits all. I don't believe in that. So, but starting with a morning routine is something that can set you up for success. When you start your morning with you time, you set the tone for the day and you feel ready and empowered to conquer the day. So some of the things you could do in your morning routine could include meditating, which I am a huge proponent of meditation, and I don't want to lose you there. If you're thinking, not me, you're shutting me out, stop right there. Come back to me, because I was one of those people. Every time I would go and see my doctor and have a check-in, he would ask me, are you meditating? And of course I said, yes, I'm meditating. He would tell me, I meditate 3 times a day and it keeps me calm. I was like, yeah, of course I'm meditating. I was not meditating. Why? Because I had tried it so many times and I could not calm this monkey mind. I don't know if anybody can relate to that. Be like, yep, that's me. I would listen to these guided meditations and boom, my mind would be on something that was going on in my day. Okay, focus on your breathing. Okay, what am I going to make for dinner? Like the thoughts wouldn't stop. I couldn't do it. And so I wasn't doing meditation. It's like, no, tried it, not for me. I'm so grateful that I listened to an amazing coach. And yes, I am a coach and coaches have coaches. I listened to this incredible woman who said, why don't you try silent meditation? And I really thought she had lost it, because I thought, how, if I can't even listen to a professional, am I going to be able to calm my thoughts on my own? It's not going to happen. But it did. It was amazing how the clutter would disappear and I would have these incredible revelations actually. So try different types of meditation. If you have tried meditation and it hasn't worked for you before, I really encourage you. It's like books. There's a million genres of books, not a million, but many. The same with meditation. There are many types of meditation. Try one. I bet you will find one that works for you. And if you are an achiever and you want to have better results, then I really recommend, but have had a hard time with meditation, I really recommend this book called Stress Less, Accomplish More by Emily Fletcher. She designed a system where you meditate twice a day. And I've been doing this meditating twice a day for about a month. I was meditating once a day for a few years now, but it's amazing how much more productive I am in the afternoon. Usually after I finish school, because I am a school teacher, I'm dead on my feet. Now that I've been meditating just for 15 minutes, I have energy for the rest of my evening. So if you think I don't have time for it, what she says, and I back up, is you don't have time not to do it. So check out that book. You could also do some other reading, maybe some prayer, some journaling, gratitude journaling, not just feeling the gratitude like we talked about before, but even writing it down. You can listen to a podcast, do some exercise. Studies show that 20 minutes of heart rate raising cardio can increase your focus for 2 hours. So if you want a focus boost, then also exercising in the afternoon is a great thing too for just 15 minutes. But again, if you haven't been exercising, perhaps for a long time, or just since the gyms have shut down, if you're in areas like I am, then you can start with just 3 minutes a day. Jim Quick taught me that 3 minutes a day can already start to improve your health and well-being and your cognition. So he does it when he's doing his coffee. He just like waiting for his coffee to percolate. He does jumping jacks for 3 minutes. So most of us can be active for 3 minutes, right? Those are some ideas of how you could do a morning routine. If anybody already has a morning routine and would like to share what they do in the chat, I'd love to hear that too. And then you could end with a nighttime routine. Now, my nighttime routine is not as complex as my morning routine. And again, I don't want you starting off saying, okay, I'm going to put this 1 hour thing in the morning. No, start with one thing. That's it. If I could impress to you one thing out of all of these things that is key, it's shutting off your phone or turning it to silent, or even better, not bringing it in your bedroom. If you treat your bedroom like a sanctuary for sleep, your body will get that message. And being off of our screens, any screens, it's not just your phone, like your laptop, any of that. And I know as entrepreneurs, some of us are like, but I do my best work while I'm sitting in my bed at night. I get that. But if you can train yourself to be like, okay, I'll do that sitting in my living room or whatever, and then I go to my bed and my bed is just for sleeping, that makes a world of difference. Some of the other things are listening to sleep meditations, of course. Warm bath or shower, the water on you is calming your parasympathetic nervous system, activating your parasympathetic nervous system, and also de-stressing you as well. So like just the actual water flowing over your body. So that's a great one as well. I won't read through all of them. I know that you can see them, but these are some ideas you could do in the evening. And again, if you have something that works for you at night that maybe I haven't mentioned, or one of these really does work for you, then I'd love to hear about that too. Every day, I challenge you to do something that brings you joy, and make a list of what that is, because when we're feeling down and overwhelmed, sometimes we can't even think of what it is that brings us joy. And so my go-to when I was super stressed and overwhelmed would be ice cream. I'd be like, I'm just going to go to Dairy Queen and grab a Blizzard on the way home, which is right by my house, unfortunately. But excuse me. I have learned that if I instead, oh, beautiful, brushing your horse. Oh, see how that brings me joy just thinking about it? I wish I had a horse. I bet that is a super joyful experience for sure. And thank you for sharing that. So, but make a list of things. And if you can't think of anything, because maybe it's been a long time since you've allowed yourself to have joy, think of the things you did as a kid, jumping on the couch as a kid, splashing in puddles, those kind of things. Yes, riding your motorcycle. Those kind of things bring you joy. See if you can bring a little bit of that into your day every single day. And again, I know we're super busy. It doesn't have to be an hour long or a half an hour long or even a 15-minute long thing. 5 minutes. Throw on one of your favorite songs and see how that does not raise your mood. I actually did a whole Wellness Wednesday thing on that yesterday on my IG about how putting on one of my favorite Zumba songs and just going for it really amped me up for the day. Stay connected. Call a loved one. Now that the weather's getting nicer, go for a walk with friends or family. We still need to stay physically distant, but we don't want to stay socially distanced, okay? It's physically distanced. So stay connected. Do not let yourself become socially isolated. And if you feel you are, reach out. Make a schedule. Now, some of you may be amazing at scheduling already. Some of you may think you've got it all up here. Some of you may have noticed that if it is all up here, you're losing track of it. So scheduling is so key. Robin Sharma always says that what's gets scheduled gets done. And I so believe that. So you want to consider all those things in the list there. And I want you to stick to your schedule, but be flexible and understanding. Don't let your schedule run you. You're using it as a tool to help you control your days. So if something can't fit in, see how there's those white spaces in her tablet, in her calendar? You gotta leave, or his, I don't know. You gotta leave some space so that if something doesn't happen today, no problem. Where can I fit it in tomorrow, right? So be flexible, absolutely. And I too do my scheduling electronically on my phone, so it was always with me. I never lose it. However, there is definitely research that shows that writing things down at the beginning when we're starting a schedule can really help us to solidify this habit, because it activates our reticular activating system, the more senses that we use. So I will have a gift for you. If you stick with me to the end, you can see about that can help you with that. Please remember, nobody is perfect. We will stumble. Forgive yourself and forgive others. Often it's easier for us to forgive others. Take some lessons and some practice in compassion for yourself as well. So I do offer Reclaim Your Life workshops or courses, seminars and talks for small or large groups. I have an online course coming soon, and I do also offer one-on-one coaching. So if you've loved what you've heard today and you'd like to hear more, then definitely get in touch with me. If there are any questions, please do type them in the chat right now, because I'd love to answer your questions. And as you're typing them out, I'll just let you know that the gift is a free scheduling template. You can choose a black and white version or a vivid color version as you wish. When you get the download, you'll see. So to get your free schedule, you go to bit.ly/start scheduling. I actually put that in the chat so you can get that. If you'd like more information, I'm going to put in the chat about a discovery call with me on LinkedIn, Facebook, and IG. I'm at Transform with Emmy, Emmy at trinitytransformations.com, and my website is www.trinitytransformations.com. I want to thank you so much for joining us. Stay safe, keep healthy, both mentally and physically and spiritually. Know that your mental health is as important as your physical health, and that mental health is a spectrum. Not all of us are diagnosed with depression, with anxiety, but that doesn't mean that we are not somewhere on that spectrum of having symptoms of it, okay? And it's okay. My favorite song these days is It's Okay Not to Be Okay. It's just not okay to just stay stuck in it. We can move through it. Some of these tools will help you. If you need more help, please do reach out. I am here for you. I want to give a special thank you to the TorontoEntrepreneurs.ca for having me as a speaker today. And I'm just double checking to see if there are any questions. I don't see any, so hopefully I'm not missing anything in the chat. And let's remember, we are all in this together. I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Emmy?
Yes.
You can hear me. Oh, amazing. I'm like, I don't know how this is going to go, but so I thought I'd write a message in the chat. Thank you so much for your time. I think your topic is so, I mentioned it in the opening remarks, how important it is right now, because we're so busy taking care of our children and our, our jobs and all that kind of stuff. And I know I'm the biggest, I'm the worst person at taking care of myself and doing this meditation and just carving time out to realize. And it's not until you start to feel so sluggish that you start doing it. So it's good to get ahead of yourself and do these things before you get to that point. That's for sure. So you're a teacher during the day. And
I am, yes.
Very nice. Very nice. So this is, I'm assuming, your passion then. So something that you're very passionate about.
Absolutely.
Amazing. Well, I really enjoyed the presentation. I needed it, that's for sure. So I'm definitely going to check out your website. Did you put your website information in here as well?
I'm pretty sure I did. I'll double check up at the top, but I'm pretty sure that I did.
Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you you being here and taking the time out of your day today to share all this with us. Your business sounds amazing. I think everybody needs this, especially now. Like who would have thought a year ago that we would all be here? And I mentioned in the opening remarks, being a business owner makes it 10 times more stressful because you have employees to think about, your clients to think about, your bottom line to think about, as well as yourself, which typically comes in last. So
exactly,
you're definitely a needed service right now. So hopefully everyone will check out your website. I know I certainly will. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much for having me. I really loved it.
Thanks, Emmy. Have a great day. Thank you so much.
You too. Bye, everybody. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.